it would be great if you are here, which I think most or all of you are, if you'd give a little wave so we can recognize you, all right? So we're gonna start with Taylor Ahrens, Ariana Armendariz, Micah Boriak, David Dragici, Matthew Driscoll, Annie Fleming, Rachel Gerton, Kayla Gilkinson, Hannah Hawking, Stephanie Huang, Peter Lee, Mara O'Keefe, Lindsay Pendleton, Suzanne Peters, Kathleen Richards, Addison Rogers, Jennifer Roebuck, Joey Staley, Danielle Steinman, Catherine Taylor, Jake Tyne, Sean Wood, and Mason Yoshida. So let's have a hand for all of those applicants for this, scholarship award. I'd also like to recognize last year's recipient, Chu Wu. Chu, if you give a wave. Thanks, Chu, for being here. You're gonna see a little bit more of Chu here in a bit on the video. And Randy Jackson, I don't know if Randy's here, but Randy was our other awardee last year. Now, before we move into the announcement of the scholarship, I'm going to ask that Cliff talk a little bit about Alyssa Notarianni and the impact she had on the school. So Cliff, the microphone is yours.
Welcome everyone. Congratulations and thank you for being here. So I want to preface this by the fact that I never met Alyssa. I know Alyssa through the words of the class of 1995 or 96 who she taught anatomy. I know her from the number of notes and books and folders that she left at Regis University as she left here after that first year of the inaugural program. I know her from many conversations with Peggy and with Aldo. And so I think, you know, looking at how I met her without ever personally interacting with her, I think that I would like to think that I know her fairly well, at least from her reputation and the legacy that she left here at Regis University, both at the Regis College level where she graduated summa cum laude, as well as the impact she had specific to setting up and getting our master's program, our inaugural program of physical therapy education at Regis University in 1995. I also know her from the quilt. So if you guys have ever noticed and walked in, as you walk into 403, a lot of you walked in there and you sat and you talked to Michelle, and you see the quilt on the wall, and there's a couple of small plaques there that kind of detail that quilt. That quilt was made by Peggy and by Cindy, one of the other daughters. And it really depicts kind of who Alyssa was. And there are two things in there that stood out to me. One was that one of the books that's indicated there is Gray's Anatomy. And for me, as an anatomist, I see that as the Bible for anatomy. And so clearly think that Alyssa kind of felt that same way. And the other thing, the other book that was in there were a lot of other books named there that I'd run across, but the other book that I think tells a big story in there is Becoming a Master Student. And I think about the stories that Peggy and that Aldo have told about Alyssa and her life at Regis University as an undergraduate, and then her life at Regis University as she helped with setting up the program. And one of the stories that comes across was that she took it out of her own time to tutor her classmates. And while she was working hard at her education, she found that it was very important to not only succeed herself, but make sure that she lifted all of her classmates up as well. And I think that goes a long way to understanding kind of who she was and her love of education, her love of her fellow classmates, and ultimately of her students down the line. Alyssa got her PhD in anatomy at the University of Minnesota. She did research at the Dana-Farber Cancer Center in Massachusetts, as well as yellow fever research at Notre Dame before she came back to Colorado. One of the things I want to have you guys remember, I hope you remember this, is that as you walked into the foyer of the anatomy lab in that small little room between the two doors, there's a plaque there in memory of Alyssa and her role in setting up that lab. That lab was designed to be a state-of-the-art anatomy lab. When the program started, and hopefully I've maintained its that legacy that we can still study anatomy in there with her in mind and her thoughts of how that lab was designed so that students had access to view and dissect each cadaver and then view and look at all the particulars of anatomy. So I hope you really kind of understand kind of the love that she put into that, the love that I think I've learned from her notes, from discussions with her mom and her dad. And I think if you keep that in mind as you think about why you applied for this scholarship, what it means to you going forward in terms of your careers in physical therapy, and knowing that Alyssa's legacy is built into that education that you guys are receiving. And Elizabeth, please tell your mother hello. I miss her dearly.
Will do.
Thank you. Or grandmother, I guess. I said mother.
Yep.
Grandmother.
I figured you meant it.
Yeah.
I call her Nanny Peg, but I figured that's what you meant.
Thanks, Cliff, for those reflections. Before we move, we're going to show you a short video that was prepared for the 25th anniversary about the scholarship. But Elizabeth, is there anything that you want to say as the family rep who's here with us today?
I hadn't prepared anything specifically, but I know that my whole family is still really honored that this is going on in Aunt Alyssa's memory, and that, you know, she lives on and her love of anatomy and of learning continues to live on. And it means a lot to the whole family that this is still going, and that she's able to help people even now. She's still able to help people in their education and learning. So thank you guys.
So there are 3 surviving siblings, Greg, who's an attorney, and then Cindy and Adrian, Elizabeth's mom. And they are very, very strong supporters of this scholarship, so we thank them. So we're going to go now to watch a short video that was prepared for the 25th anniversary, and we're trusting that technology will work here.
Over the past 25 years, the School of Physical Therapy at Regis University has really grown in influence from Denver, Colorado, and even beyond. Really, our students have succeeded because of the amazing dedication and hard work of our faculty and our staff. In our 25th anniversary year, we're celebrating our history, and we're also considering the legacy of those who have gone before us. The success of this program is really built on the shoulders of those who had the courage and the vision to start this program.
Alyssa Notarianni began this program in 1995 by assisting in the development of the curriculum and in terms of designing the anatomy lab where she would teach. While not have ever met Alyssa, I feel like I can understand who she was and how she wanted students to learn. And her mother and her sister quilted a remembrance quilt of her afterwards, and it sits in our school at this time. Two of the books that were in that particular quilt are Gray's Anatomy and On Becoming a Master Student. Alyssa was a young woman who gave her all to this program, and as she imparted the knowledge, she put that and encouraged students to carry that forward as they went into their professional programs, into their professions later on as practicing physical therapists.
I chose Regis because I really liked the values they had. One of them is Cura Personalis, taking care of the whole person. And they also had an emphasis on service.
I chose Regis because I heard it was such a good program from the teachers that I had worked with when I was in Haiti. And they had told me that Regis produced a really high quality physical therapist. I heard the faculty was really great.
I chose Regis primarily because of their service learning, their involvement in their community, and the leadership aspects. This is one of the only universities that actually kind of flows into leadership of actual physical therapy.
After Regis, I hope to become a physical therapist in like an inpatient setting or working with patients with neurological deficits.
So I chose physical therapy because of how much patient time you get. I really wanted to really be a part of the recovery of people's lives. And I knew that being a physical therapist would allow me to do that. And there's just so many different fields that I could go into, so many varied opportunities, and I wanted to take advantage of that.
In the class of 2020. And the scholarship has helped immensely. So I was actually getting really close to the federal loan cap, which is basically you can only take out a certain amount of money through undergraduate and graduate. So this scholarship actually helped me be able to fund my entire education because I was just a little bit under, or I was going to go over that gap.
The Notarianni scholarship has helped a lot, especially with paying the finances of tuition. Regis is an expensive institution with a great education, and it's also given me the opportunity to engage in other continuing learning opportunities. I went to a public course, which will help further my education beyond what school could do, and I could use that money towards that.
Yeah, I received the Notarianni scholarship, and it's been super helpful. PT school is very expensive, and honestly, any help with that means the world to me.
As 3 Notarianni scholarship recipients, we are forever grateful for your contributions to our education.
We want to come together to say a special thank you to the Notarianni family for helping us make our dreams come true and become strong physical therapists and great leaders in our society.
And we really couldn't have done this without the help of your scholarship.
You're going to forever impact us.
Thank you.
So it was good to see Peggy's face there. You saw her standing next to Chu and to Randy in pictures, and Jager in pictures that were taken in previous years. So that was a good reminder of Peggy and all those contributions to this program. We're about ready to do the big reveal. Again, I gotta say kudos to the awards committee. We had an overwhelming number of really well-qualified applicants. You know, folks, we wish we could give you all $5,000 for a scholarship. We really do. We have enough spin-off of this each year by its investments to give 2 $5,000 scholarships. we want you all, though, as Cliff said, to keep in mind the legacy that Alyssa put forward. And Cliff, I have to say, Cliff has carried that legacy forward. And we thank Cliff for keeping Alyssa's memory alive in our program. And you all know, because you hear it over and over from probably all of your faculty, anatomy is one of the foundations of what we do. So without further ado, then we're going to announce that this year's Notarianni, the 2020 Notarianni Scholarship recipients are Peter Lee and Kathleen Richards. Congratulations, Peter and Kathleen. And we're going to give Peter and Kathleen, if you'd, let's take Peter first. I'm going to choose you first. Peter, if you want to unmute, and since Elizabeth's on the line, you can, off the cuff, give your thanks to the family.
Put me on the spot. Wow, it's a lot of money. PT school is not very, very cheap, and grown up kind of always been in lower socioeconomic places. So this is a huge deal for me and for my family. So I just want to thank you and your family for putting this forward, and hopefully in my education and my career as a PT, I keep her legacy alive.
Thanks, Peter. Kathleen.
Sorry, I'm a little emotional. I just sorry. I wanted to thank the family for, and just let you know how much of an impact you're having on us. And like Peter said, PT school is really expensive, and it's really hard to afford. So this is going to help a tremendous amount. And I also wanted to thank all of our teachers here for Cliff, especially for carrying on the legacy, and how much foundational sciences means to all of us and our abilities to be PTs. So thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen. All right, Steph, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
All right, that was great. So first of all, the video was fantastic. I've been so anxious that the video was not going to play, so I'm glad that worked out. You guys all have the link to the video, so if you want to share that, you guys are welcome to do that. And thank you all so much for coming. We especially thank Elizabeth for taking time out of her day to join us. We appreciate you being here. And thank you to your family as well for the generous gifts that you've given our students throughout the years. We're grateful for that for sure. So thank you, everyone.
By the way, I need to tell you all, Elizabeth is also getting married in 2 weeks. So congratulations to Elizabeth for her wedding here very soon. 2 weeks, right, Elizabeth?
Yes, two weeks from this coming Sunday. So 2.5 weeks.
Very
finally,
good.
After multiple reschedules due to COVID.
So if you don't mind, I would like to just, as I'm Linda Osterlin, the Academic Dean of Rickard Hartman College of Health Professions, and I just wanted to first say thank you to Elizabeth. We just really appreciate your representation in this family, and how the legacy of Alyssa carries on through this scholarship. And congratulations to Peter and Kathleen. So what an honor it is for you to carry on the legacy of Alyssa Notarianni and her passion for anatomy and the excellence of the profession of PT. This is well deserved. So congratulations.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for taking time to come and join us. All right, let's stop recording.